Welcome back to It's a Tool Thing with some more action. I'm trying to figure out how to make these videos, but keep the time that it takes while I'm working down to a minimum. As you can see, this video is only going to be a couple minutes long of actual work. I have already removed the 1/2-inch 12-point driveline strap bolts, and I have the carrier bearing loose also. I'd like to say before I play this video that it is very unsafe and you need to be very mindful. I actually felt like it was even more unsafe trying to video this than it normally is. And the reason I say that, make sure you're being careful. And this is just how I do it. I'm not recommending that you do it the same way, though it is very effective, because there's times where you're underneath it and both hands are doing something besides holding this driveline up. In the past, the way I would do it is I would remove each driveline segment. This allows me, in particular, when I'm out in the field, even though I do it in the shop now too, I need to make a second one of these rigs up. It allows me to do it by myself without having to get assistance. So like I said, if you attempt this, make sure you're very careful, because this driveline will seriously hurt you. I'm going to go ahead and play the video here. As you can see, I've got a ratchet strap on the front, just holding the front of the driveline up. And then back here, I've got a come-along. It's a little 500-pound come-along with a bar that's going across the frame rail. This is actually a piece of expanded metal. They use it for conduit and stuff. It seems to be very robust for this. It's lightweight, and it usually will slide in. Not on every vehicle, but most. As you can see, I've got the thing noosed around the driveline. I've already got the carrier bearing off. I'm working on lowering this thing down. I'm running into a problem just using one hand here, unfortunately. I'm trying to use my leg to help guide it. Normally I'd be using my second hand that I'm videoing with. Normally this isn't an issue, but what it's doing is, since I'm picking up on it with my leg, it's going into free spin mode. And it's just trying to let out the chain. That's why I keep having to change direction back. Like I said, I'm videotaping this with the driveline basically directly above me. So I'm trying to be as cautious as possible. But as you can see here, I'm able to lower this driveline down that even with two guys would be a challenge. As you can see now I've got my leg kind of out of the way, and it's actually lowering it down as I work my way, getting it lower to the ground. Once I get the middle part of the driveline down some, it's off camera right now. I'm actually readjusting that ratchet strap in the front so that it'll be a little lower, so that I can get the main portion where the carrier bearing is all the way to the ground. Should be getting pretty close now. It does kind of have a little bit of a jerking action. But this works pretty good for removal and installation with one guy. So obviously trying to operate a camera at all is not ideal. I was letting that strap out a little more in the front. You can see I think I've just gotten to the point now where it's loose. So I've got the driveline all the way on the ground. I'm out of the way at this point. And then I've got that strap still, it looks like I got it pulled off on the front. So like I said, this is a piece of channel they use for running conduit in a building. Just a spare piece of scrap. They make a thinner version I want to try, but it seems like it might have a little too much flex, and it's kind of expensive. This was just a piece of scrap that I had. I've got a 1/2 inch eye bolt through it with a lock nut, a steel lock nut on the top so that it won't back out. Originally I had it double nutted, which worked fine, but I ran into a scenario where the clearance wasn't enough for that double nut and the rest of the stud. So I went ahead and changed that out for a steel lock nut and was able to cut that stud down and was able to get it to fit in there. This truck I actually had to remove a gantry plate out of the way. Box trucks, it seems to work pretty good, and that's where I actually had to cut that top side of the eye bolt down to be able to get it turned up. It doesn't work in every vehicle because sometimes there's just nowhere to put it. But this Come Along, though I'm not a big Harbor Freight fan, is actually a Harbor Freight tool, and it has been pretty good. Like I said, I think it's rated for 500 pounds. The reason I went with this one was I wanted as short of a package as possible, because one of the issues I run into is sometimes the distance from the frame to the driveline is really short, and I need to be able to ratchet that up and get some tension on it, so that when I'm pulling that carrier bearing, I have it under control at that point. So once again, I'd like to reiterate that please, if you try this, be very careful. Always try to keep at least one hand on the driveline, which I said I was actually using a leg so I could video. But it's not a bad idea to use one hand and a leg, because you do not want one of these things falling from any distance and striking you. It could be the end of you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below, and have a great day.